Okay. They are throwing a lot out there, but they're showing us no data. And that in itself is a problem. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how they've done it with virtually every single disease or virus or any kind of illness that they claim Black people have, but they never, ever, ever show us the data. They just tell us, and then unfortunately, too many of our people are more than willing to repeat it without seeing any evidence. Yes, are there people in the Black community in bad health? Yes, but there are plenty of people in the communities of people that they're not talking about. They're in bad health too. I mean, look, around where I live, you can't turn the corner without seeing Black fat Latinos, fat white people, even some chubby looking Chinese people around here. You can't turn a corner without seeing them. So they're not all in good health either. So for you to say we get it more because of our health, then why are you overlooking the health of all of these other people? They're not all in good shape either. This society has fed us junk. We all know this. So I'm going to go over a few things, and I want to shout out to Brother Seji Hito. He put out a really good video. If you did not get to see it, go over there and see it. I'm going to play a little clipping from his video. Now, before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke to a few of my relatives. Thank you, Junebug, for the super sticker. I spoke to a few of my relatives. Just give me a second. I got to get my apple juice. Let's see here. All right. I spoke to 2 cousins and an uncle today. And I'm going to pose this question even to all of you in the chat. How many of you met or heard about Black people being tested? I don't know a relative or friend that has been tested for COVID-19. I don't know anybody on my block that's Black that has been tested for COVID-19. So how is it that all these Black people been tested? But if you talk to the average Black person, we don't know a single Black person that has been tested. Don't you find that odd? They're coming up with this number of Black people, and if you talk to your family and your friends, you hardly find anybody among us that know a lot of Black people that have been tested. That in itself, I find very odd. I don't know about you, but I find that to be odd. So where did the tests take place where they determined this is impacting us the most? Are you basing it on one city? Because we're not all in that one city. Are you basing it on the places that have the highest numbers? Is this a nationwide number that you're coming up with? Where are you coming this? You're not giving us any data of where this is coming from. And when I look at other data online, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not finding it there either. All I'm getting is, oh, Black people are dying of this more than anyone else. And then they're writing it in an article, but they're not showing you where that is the case. Let's face it, it is not the first time this country has told lies about us. Look at how long they ran around trying to say Black people were the welfare recipients, and then come to find out decades later, the welfare recipients were white. Okay? They have done this to us before. So What's to stop them from doing this now? We haven't seen a nationwide breakdown of the numbers yet. Even as they're telling us Black people are getting it more than anyone else, they're telling us this without showing us a nationwide breakdown. And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I can't accept these numbers or what they're trying to tell us. Let's see a breakdown. The CDC has not showed us a breakdown of who's getting this in the United States. The World Health Organization is not showing us. The Trump administration is not showing us. All these big administrations out here, and they're not showing us a thing. All they're doing is coming to us, telling us we get it the most. I'm sorry. I know what the history is in this country. I know what it is. You know what it is. Would you just accept this just from based on the words of the people that never told us the truth in the first place? Thank you, Gregory Wyatt. COVID-19 is the devil's great vaccine hustle. Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up. I really truly believe they are telling us this to scare the Black community into being one of the first ones to get the vaccine. I think this is what the goal is. It's to scare us all into running as soon as the vaccine is created, is to run out there, get the Black community disproportionately running out there to get these shots. That's what I believe this is all about. But I cannot accept we are getting it the most, and no data is being shown in the mainstream media that back up. All they're doing is showing you, well, in Chicago. Well, we're not all in Chicago. We live all over the damn country. Okay, we're not all in Chicago. Thank you, Cameron, for the super chat. They're trying to put another negative label on us, Lisa. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm not buying this thing about telling us we get it the most, but show us zero data. Something is seriously wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. And look, we can go all the way back to the Tuskegee experiments and track where these people have lied to us all throughout history. If you want to get into the medical side of it, we have always been lied to. Look at the countless Black women that were sterilized, and they didn't, and many of them didn't even know they were being sterilized. And how they would do it is you would go in there for a procedure, and during that procedure, they would go ahead and sterilize you, remove your uterus, and you didn't even ask for that to be done. Thank you, Thaddeus, for the super sticker. So why are, and I'm very disturbed by our people that are running out here and putting videos out, jumping on the bandwagon. Black people are getting it the worst. Based on what? Based on what, y'all? Thank you, Clayton, for the super chat. Yes, the media is trying to play mind games. Yes. Okay, you put out a video saying we get it disproportionately the worst on their word. Okay, you're putting that video out, and I've seen several of them out there. I mean, people I like and respect, but I think they're jumping the gun on this. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not going to put a video out there saying Blacks disproportionately get this because I'm not seeing enough data to back this up. You're just showing me something out of Chicago and acting like this is going on across the country. No, I'm not accepting that. No, it's not good enough. And I'm going to show you how they're hiding the numbers for the white population, but they're going to tell you about the Latinos, they're going to tell you about the Blacks and the Asians, and they're going to exclude all information about white people. That sends up a red flag too. So some of y'all that are putting videos out, you can do what you want on your channel. I'm not going to tell you what to do on your channel. All I'm saying is let more data come out before you get on the horn talking about what we get the most. It has not been the first time they have tricked us into these things. All I'm saying is proceed with caution. I'm not in any position to tell people what to do on their channels, but it's very disturbing to me that some of our people hear it 1 or 2 times and they jump on a video and they just repeat all of this as if they got all the data on this, and you know you didn't. None of us got all the data on this. None, because it has not been published. Thank you, Jet Black. Okay, it has not been published. So, no, I mean, if you want to put it out there, I guess it's your right to do so. But I'm not going to do it until I see some data. And until then, no, I'm not getting on any video talking about blacks get it the most. All right. Now, I looked at, I wish I could remember where I saw this online. I was looking at a different COVID articles over the last couple of weeks, and I caught this one person, and I wish I would have copied it. Now I cannot remember what ad I was looking at. I mean, what article I was looking at. Somebody in the comment section said they were diagnosed with coronavirus and their doctor never tested them. And this was a black man. This was a black man. He got diagnosed and the doctor didn't give him a single test. This is what happened to a black man. So it blew me away when I went out on Seji Hito. Shout out to that brother. And he had a woman on there that said the same exact thing. I want to play this little clip. I'm not going to play his whole video, but I want y'all to see this little clip on this video. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Shout out to everybody in the chat, 528 between my 2 channels. Welcome, everybody. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen because, some of y'all might have seen it, but not everybody. So I'm going to let you see what this woman says. And this is actually the second time I've seen something like this. And I'm wondering how widespread this actually is, where they're diagnosing black people with it and you weren't tested. All right, Cassie, you said I was diagnosed without a test too. Yes, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on where they're diagnosing black people and they're not giving you a test? Okay, something is definitely up. So let me go ahead and play this for you, y'all.
Man, let me tell you, it take days. They tell us here it take 24 hours. You feel what I'm saying? They didn't swab me or test me or nothing to look what the fuck papers say. Reason for visit, fever. Diagnosis, COVID-19. They didn't test me for this shit. He told me I had it, bro. He didn't test me for it. He told me I fucking had it, bro. He told me I fucking had it, bro. Come on now. Look at what my temperature was. I ain't even had no temperature when I went in that bitch. Come on now. But because I told him I can't taste and smell, he know I got it. Oh, well, that's the number one symptom that's been going around lately is not the smell or taste. So I'm not going to say, we're just going to say you have it and quarantine you for 2 weeks. That's exactly what he said, bro. We're just going to say you have it. We're just going to tell you have it. So they diagnosed me with coronavirus.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? I actually saw this also in a comment section, and I wish I could remember what publication it was because I read through so many articles before I pick out what I want to present to you. And every now and then I'll go in a comment section and I'll read what some of the comments are. And there was a black man in one of the comment sections that said he was diagnosed with coronavirus and he was never tested. Now, this is the second person I've heard that from that's Black. And now I got Cassie. I got one of my subscribers telling the same thing. She was diagnosed with coronavirus and was not tested. So that's 3. So how common is this around the country? Now, I look at that woman. She looked healthy to me. Did she look sick to y'all? I tell you what, if she got it, she must be asymptomatic because she looks damn healthy to me. So we are getting diagnosed with this shit and no real test is being done. Now, look, we're all saying we got Black friends, we got Black families, and no damn body knows a single soul that's been tested. And the people that do go to the doctor is just writing on the paper that you got COVID virus and no testing was done. Let me tell y'all something. I had bronchitis. Many of you that have been with me for a while know that I had bronchitis back in 2018. I lost my sense of taste during that time when I had bronchitis. I couldn't taste anything. Every damn thing tastes the same to me. It wasn't until about a week later when everything started gradually coming back. So what is going on here? What is going on here where people in the Black community are being told they have coronavirus and these doctors didn't give you a single test? Now, this woman was in Ohio. If y'all know anybody that have been told they got coronavirus and they're in the Black community and they have never been tested, reach out to me and let me know who that is. I would like to interview. I want to start interviewing these people because something is definitely up. They're in cahoots with each other on putting this label on us. They're trying to make this a Black virus. But still, it's very difficult because over in Europe, ladies and gentlemen, over in Europe, those Europeans aren't Black. And this is all over the world. It's not just in Black countries or Black islands in the world. In fact, there's minimal amount down there in the islands. They got it, but it's very minimal. We know it's minimal in Africa. But here in the United States, it's exploding among the African Americans, but it's minimal everywhere else among us. All right. I tried to put together this little slideshow that I want to show y'all. I'm going to share this again because there's several things I want to go over with you. Please pardon me if you do a super chat and I don't see it because I'm going to have this on full screen. So please don't get upset if I don't see it right away. You know, I thank all of you that do, you know, the super chats and the super stickers. I deeply appreciate it. So don't get offended. All right. All right. So let's get started. I agree that I agree. It's not enough data for them to be running to the forefront and telling us we get it the most. And I'm sorry, as long as I don't see data, y'all, I'm not going to jump on this bandwagon. I'm not. I mean, I know we have a lot of problems in the Black community. I do know that. I know what the health problems is. Look, my own family suffer from high blood pressure, and diabetes is in my family, and cancer and all that stuff is in my family. I know what's in our community. But at the same token, see, the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, they got away with telling us we get the most this, and we go to jail the most, and we do this the most, and we do that the most. And we see how they frame us. Okay? Hebrew Lion, thank you for the super sticker. We see how these people frame us, y'all. We have seen cops on videos planting drugs, planting guns, falsifying police reports, lying, and just doing a whole host of things to us. But all of a sudden, these same people that told us we are the most violent, and then when you look at the data, the majority of the people in jail are there for non-violent drug offenses. That's what the majority are in there for. What violence? What violence are they talking about? The shit they make up all the time? You know, so no, we need more data before anybody is to believe this. So let me go ahead. I'm going to share my screen because there's a few articles I want to go over with you. All right. Now, California, ladies and gentlemen, published their numbers on coronavirus broken down by race in California. All right. And I want you to see exactly what they published. Now, this is just bits and pieces that I took out of the article that I want to show you. All right, so this was published in the LA Times, April 8th, 2020. California releases limited racial breakdown of coronavirus patients and death. And I want you to look at this. This data is far different from anything that we are being told about. I'm going to stop it right here. I want you to look at this. So let me start at the top. With California's officials for the first time on Wednesday provided a partial breakdown. This is not the full thing. These are just preliminary numbers that they use to come up with this report. Okay. Now look at Black people down at the bottom for having the most infections. Latinos lead in California, followed by Asians, and Blacks are last. California officials for the first time Wednesday provided a partial breakdown of the coronavirus infections and death by race. Now, what's missing, ladies and gentlemen? Whites. Whites were excluded from this. Why? And the reason they give, you're going to hear the reason they give. It's not even a good reason. They excluded the whites from this partial information, this data that they provided. I see something wrong already. I see something wrong already. And we know the gatekeepers of the numbers are simply not honest. Okay. The preliminary figures showing the distribution is broadly in line with the state's demographics. Governor Gavin Newsom emphasized a breakdown was based on limited data, which has been an obstacle across the state because many reports of new cases and fatalities lack information on patients' race or ethnicity. This is what I have on the screen. With about 37% of the patients identified by race, here's a breakdown of reported COVID-19 cases statewide. Look at that. Only 6% according to this partial data that they put out, were Black that had infections statewide in California. Okay, does it look like Black people got it the most when you look at California? That's why I think what they're doing is they're looking at certain locations, maybe Chicago and New York, and they're basing their data on us getting it the most, but they're not looking at the entire country where that may not be the case. I mean, look at a place like Iowa that's over 90% white. It wouldn't be the case there, right? So now let's look at this, y'all. The governor said the preliminary figures track modestly so along the lines of the total population, and that his office is not seeing the disparities that some other states and counties have seen. So he's telling you the data that California got differs from what you're saying about the rest of the country and Blacks having it the most. Okay, so based on the data in California, only 3% of the deaths in California were Black. Look at Latino and Asians. Only 3% in the entire state of California was Black. Newsom presented some of those numbers at a daily news briefing, but did not include whites. Listen to this. And some other groups. The California Department of Public Health releases more detailed figures later in the day, saying in the statement that race and ethnicity data is roughly in line with the diversity of California overall. Where's the white people? White people are in California. Where are they? Why are their numbers being hidden? Okay, why are their numbers being hidden? So, ladies and gentlemen, I went and looked at another source, and this is how it broke down. It says the breakdown of deaths for 39% of victims the state has identified by race. Listen to this. Whites, 43%. Latinos, 29%. Asians, 16%. Black, 3%. Those are the ones that died in California. 43% of the people that died in California were white, followed by Latinos, Asians, and Blacks were last on the list at 3%. Data's there. You just got to go digging for it. But they tried initially not to even tell you what the whites were. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, do you follow me on this? I mean, check this out. Check out what they're telling us. Thank you, Ralph 1628. And thank you, Vince. Thank you very much for the super sticker. And thank you, Hebrew Lion. I think that was from the last time. But do you see what I see? 3% out of the entire state of California that died from CV were Black. And the biggest cases in California to have the disease were Latinos at 39, almost 40%. And then whites are behind Latinos at 36.8%. So Latinos are 39.3%. So they have it the most, followed by whites, then Asians, and then Blacks. Okay, so when they're telling you we have it the most, ladies and gentlemen, you know what they're doing? They're skipping over the states where it's not showing that way. Thank you, Metho, for the super sticker. See, they're showing you states that are notorious to have a lot of Black people in the city, but that does not represent Black people countrywide. It doesn't. So they're being very disingenuous by jumping on mainstream news and writing all these articles, and they're giving you zero data. Okay, Always look at the source of where the information is coming from. And then look at the history behind these people that are giving you the data. Have they been good to us? No. All right, there's more. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you again. There's more, y'all. All right. Now let me go to, there's another one I want to show y'all. Okay. So initially, when Newsom, the governor, put this out, he said the data released did not include percentages for whites. The governor said the preliminary figures track modestly so along the lines of the total population, and that his office is not seeing the disparities that some other states and counties have seen. But isn't that convenient to exclude the whites? How convenient, right? But then when you look at the deaths in California, 43% of the deaths were white. And Black people, 3%. Okay, this is where I want to stop. Now, initially, we talked about Black people even being tested. Now, we are all Black. We come from Black families. We got Black friends. You might worked around many Black people. I haven't heard about a lot of us getting tested. I haven't come across one relative or friend or even anybody on my block that has tested for coronavirus. This came out in BuzzFeed, y'all. Doctors are concerned that Black communities might not be getting access to coronavirus tests. Now, what did that young woman said? They didn't test me. They just put, I have COVID-19 on this paper, right? They didn't test us. Now, these doctors are saying they don't believe enough Black people have even been tested. Do you see this? And I believe that because, like we all know, we don't know a lot of people that have been tested. It's not like we can say, hey, a lot of my uncles and my aunts and, and I got a couple of friends that we're not saying that. Most of us are saying, shit, I don't even know one person that's been tested. Well, the doctors are saying they're concerned that the Black community and other underserved groups might be disproportionately missing out on getting tested for COVID-19 in the absence of data breaking down who's been tested so far by race and ethnicity. We know in the US that there are great disparities, not only in the diagnosis, but the treatment that African Americans and other minorities are afforded. So I want to make sure that in this pandemic, that Black and brown people are treated in the same way and that these tests are made available in the same pattern as for white people, said Dr. Ebony Hilton, an associate professor of anesthesiology and critical medicine at the University of Virginia. So they're telling you right there, ladies and gentlemen, they're telling you it ain't hardly no Black people that's been tested. Okay. So where are they coming up with? We got it the most. No, you don't let them get away with telling us this with no data. For a long time, they did get away with that. They would say something and we would just kind of go along. It's just like when Joe Biden made that statement that Black parents don't know how to read. And then when I went out to get the data, Black people are some of the most literate people in the country. Okay. When I I looked out. In fact, we were more literate than what they posted for white people, the percentages they posted for them. We are the most literate people in the damn country. But he's standing there telling us we don't know how to read. But see, we have accepted this stuff at face value for so long, they think they can continue on doing this to us. So no, and I was really even more disappointed when I looked at some of the comments in the videos that I did see on this, and people going along with this with zero data. This should be disturbing to all of us. But the one thing we do have is social media, where we can push back on this stuff. People coming and telling us Black people do this and Black people got that, and you do this and you do that. Those days are done. We can look this stuff up for ourselves. And actually, if anything, I believe these doctors have not seen a lot of Black people getting tested. I truly believe that. So, all right, let's go on, y'all. I'm going to share again. All right. All right. All right. This was actually the last article that I have. And this is from The Atlantic. What the racial data shows. Now they're writing, okay, it's hitting the people of color the hardest, which I'm just telling y'all, without seeing data, I don't believe that. Okay. And it said Black people are some of the ones in this country worried the most about getting CV. We are some of the most conscious people about it, if anything, out here. And we see the disparities out here. So now they're claiming in Chicago, they're seeing 70% of the African American community with coronavirus. And we're the most dying from it. And this is just based on Chicago alone. This is not nationwide. So Senator Elizabeth Warren and Representative Ayanna Pressley recently urged the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to lead the effort to collect and publish such data. Local leaders and editorial boards are pushing for the same. So they're saying, okay, you have come out and said Blacks and Latinos get this the most, but none of y'all are showing the data. We want this published. And that's all I'm saying. Publish the shit. We know people are getting sick and people are dying, but I'm just sorry. I can't accept this. So now in Michigan, Black Americans comprise of 14.1% of the state population, but an ungodly 40% of the coronavirus deaths. That doesn't even make sense. How can we be 14% of the population in Michigan, but we're 40% of the people that are dying? I mean, just start listening to this stuff carefully. So let's see here. There's more. In Illinois, the infection rate among Blacks was twice their percentage of the state population. Does that make sense? If we are a certain number, how can we be double that number? Oh boy, this North Carolina, Mecklenburg, that's where my cousin was murdered, y'all. includes Charlotte. Black people comprise of 32.9% of the residents, but 43.9% of confirmed coronavirus cases. So the percentage of Blacks having it is bigger than the actual population there. In Milwaukee, Black Americans make up 26% of the county, but nearly half of the infections and maddening 81% of the deaths are Black people, and we're 26% of the population. You know, start questioning this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Don't accept this. Start questioning, okay, if we get it, where's the numbers? Give us the data. So the next time these organizations make these accusations, we want the data. We don't want to hear nothing else about we get the most of this and get the most of that. We want to see the data. And once again, in this article for The Atlantic, white people are barely mentioned in the whole article. You would think they didn't have coronavirus in the country at all. And that's another consistent thing I see in these articles. They highly exclude the white population. So the moral of this story, ladies and gentlemen, don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you hear. Look, even the senators and the Congress people are saying, okay, let's see the data. You're telling us this, but you're showing us no data. They're not showing us. They're not showing the senators. They're not showing Congress, but they are running to the media to say we get it the most. Doesn't that seem very odd to you? It sure does to me. So just be careful about what you hear and don't be quick to believe it, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we are all pretty smart and resourceful people. If somebody says stuff to us, we do have the ability to go out and fact check it. You know, we can fact check anything we want online. So them making this attempt to make this a Black virus, this is going to implode on them. Trust me. It is going to implode on them. Just give it a little more time. It's coming. So, Blacks can't understand technical stuff. The hell we can't. Yes, we can. I don't know where you're getting that from. Okay, Diana Renee, thank you for the super chat. This is done on purpose. People will believe it, unfortunately. Yeah, because we are at the bottom of the totem pole right now. So any negative thing that comes out about us, yeah, people are going to be more inclined to believe it, unfortunately. And then this is how they rigged up the society to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do what we do best. Keep your immune systems up. Take care of yourselves and your families. Make sure you're taking your supplements. If you do smoothies, try to put super fruits and vegetables in there. You want the best and strongest in there. No. Let them troll. Let them troll, because you know what? You notice the ones that always come and say stuff to us, they end up with it. Remember that girl that was online? I can't get it. I can't get it. And then she got it. So let them come and troll and do it, because they're really putting that curse on themselves. I'm not worried about what these people come and say. He's not immune to getting it. He can get knocked down with that virus just like anybody else. Let him come and talk shit. He's now talking that judgment in the universe. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you for coming out and listening. And, you know, be the judge of what you see and hear. Don't let these folks guide us into believing something. You know, those days are done. We can do our own thinking now. You know, many of us are not illiterate and we can read and write and we can do our own thinking. And that's what I would suggest you do. But don't jump on this bandwagon about us getting it the most and there's no data that has come out. So everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you coming and spending this time with me. Family, enjoy the rest of your day. Shalom.